As soon as you plant the garden, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds are out to take it. You've got to learn not only to nourish your values, you've got to learn to battle with your enemies. Whatever threatens you, I'm asking you to threaten it back. Take care of your responsibility, but do not take anything of anybody. Somebody wants to destroy your chances for a good future by their negative thought, negative thinking, putting it all down. I'm telling you, walk away. If you walk away, whatever threatens you, threaten it back. Whatever threatens your opportunity, threaten it back. Now, some of our enemies are on the outside. But here is the most important thing to understand. Some of our enemies on the inside. Let me give you a quick list in difference. You gotta do battle with your own indifference. Boy, it's easy to coast, especially if you've accomplished something extraordinary. Now, somebody says, I got to relax. Here is the key. Not too long. The weeds, which will take all your plant if you rest too long. Don't rest too long. Indecision. You gotta make those indecisions. And you gotta make those decisions. The ones that don't turn out to be good gives you experience and make better decisions. Don't let much time go without making some decisions. The ones that you can make quickly, make them quickly. The ones that take time, take your time. But get those decisions made. Don't let indecision be an enemy. Rob your future, empty your bank account, leave you with zero in the purse. Don't let that happen. The next one is doubts. But I'm asking you not to pick all those doubts. I'm asking you to have some faith, have some courage, believe, drive doubts into a small corner. Don't let them lose like a mad dog. Drive you into a small corner. Don't doubt the future. Don't doubt the possibilities. Here is the most important one of all. Do not doubt yourself. If I've got miracle working power to change my life, so do you. If I've got the ability to change, so do you. If I've got the ability to read, so do you. If I can discover, so can you. If I can grow, so can you grow. If I can develop, you can develop. If I can get an individual like I got 6 years ago, help take something around the world, so can you. If I can stand up on the platform, Idaho farm boy rising obscurity, so can you. I'm asking you, don't sell yourself short. Here is the next one, worry. I'm asking you to drive worry into a small corner. You gotta worry some. All this negative stuff serves some purpose. But the key is for you to be the master, not the servant. But here is what I'm asking you to do. You be the master of worry. Drive it into a small corner. Don't let it loose. I'm asking you to go home with some new faith and some new courage. I'm asking you, don't worry. Drive it into a small corner. We've all got concerns, and sometimes you all wonder, and sometimes there's a little crack of doubt. We worry a little, but I'm telling you, drive it into a small corner. Drive your worries into a small corner. Couple of more enemies of the mind you gotta do battle with in the summer. One is pessimism that tries to get you only to see the negative side. Of course, there is a negative side. Life is part negative. What else is new? If the glass is half empty, it is half empty. You say, well, I've been only taught to see that it's half full. Well, sure, it's half full, but it is also half empty. I mean, can't you handle that? I mean, that's not too difficult, but here is what pessimism would try to get you to do. Believe that it's only half empty. When pessimism comes to your mind, you've got to educate pessimism because pessimism is stupid. Learn from your own experience. So, the call didn't go well. All the stuff. Guess what they did when they finished that call? They made another call. What else could you do to make it better? How could we possibly improve? This is called the possibility for life change start with education. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in picking up the ideas. Don't be lazy in learning from your own experience. One of the major reasons for setting goals is for what they make you. In achieving them, my teacher advised me when I first got started at the age 25. He said, Jim, why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? He said, it's got a nice ring to it. Enough zeros to improve your accountant. And he said, I'm here to help you. You're only 25 years old and have been to 1 year of college. You've got a beautiful family, every reason to do it. Why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? And he said, here is why. And I thought he doesn't need to teach me why. Wouldn't it be nice to have $1 million? He said, no. Then we'll miss it. He said, here is why. for why it will make you to achieve it. I'm telling you that statement changed my life. Set the goal that will make something of you to achieve it, he said. Now, once you become a millionaire, what's important is not the money. I thought, that's strange detail, he said. Honest, it is not important, he said. You could just give the money away. Now, I did better than that. I lost it all. By the time I was 31, I was a millionaire. By the time I was 33, I was broke. But when I lost all the money, guess what? I found Mr. Schaaf's right. What was valuable was not the money. What was valuable was what I become to earn the money. The skill I had, the knowledge I had about the marketplace, the values that I had going for me. They were more valuable than money. Here is an important statement to remember. It's not what you get that makes you valuable. It's what you become. So part of your key here is to set the goal that will make something up. You don't set them too low so that you don't have to grow, and you don't have to read, and you don't have to try, and you don't have to stretch. Don't set them too low. And then you don't sell out. Don't go for something that's gonna cost you your words, cost you your values, and sell out your principles. There is a good middle road here to follow. Goals that will inspire. Goals that will help you grow, change, develop, and become better than you are. The power of extraordinary performance and demanding of yourself excellent results. This is so important. If you want to live extraordinary, you must do extraordinary. If you want an extraordinary income, you must do extraordinary things. If you want an extraordinary fortune, you must go with the demands of what it takes to have that fortune. If we would ask of ourselves that performance, we've got to ask it of yourself. I can't ask it of you. I would try to inspire you. I would try my best to share with you what it might taste like, what's like finally make your fortune. It happened for me, but here is what you must do. You must demand it of yourself. Society doesn't demand that you don't have a heart attack. But if you want to escape having a heart attack, you must demand it of yourself. Society doesn't demand it to prove your health. You have to demand it by yourself. Society doesn't you jog around the block every morning, but if you want good health, you must demand it of yourself. Society doesn't demand that you read a couple of books a week and improve your intelligence with your knowledge. That you must demand of yourself. Society doesn't demand that you blind a financial wall around your family. Nothing can get enough. That's not demand of society, but you must demand it. If you wish it, you must demand of yourself. Society doesn't demand that you learn at least 10 skills in order to ensure your own future and the future of your family. Society doesn't demand it, doesn't require it. It's not allowed. But if you want the benefits, you must demand it of yourself. If there is some things you have been postponing, some decisions you haven't got to, I would ask you, just take out your journal and just go through what have been postponing. It's not gonna better for my health. It's not gonna be better for my future. It's not gonna be enhanced my finances. Maybe a problem needs to be solved. I gotta decide when I'm going to do it and how I'm gonna proceed. I need to get it. I promise you, if you will go through some of that list and start making those decisions, your inspiration will start to flow, and those could be very critical, important, exciting days. Indecision is the thief of opportunity. Indecision means the door is still closed. Indecision means the opportunity waits. Indecision means what could be is postponed or maybe never be. You know that? These are all the penalties of indecision. Sometimes we cannot make a snap judgment. We cannot decide immediately on something so important. But after a while, we must understand sometimes the heavy penalty of putting off our decision making. So, one source of inspiration is deciding where does self-confidence come from. And this is the best advice I can give you on that. Not neglecting, first of all, the small daily discipline. Self-discipline really comes from feeling good about yourself. And one of the best ways is to feel good about yourself is at the end of the day to know what you pour on it. You did your best. If you conducted a meeting, you did the best you could. If you made a phone call, it was the best phone call ever you could possibly make. If you wrote a letter, it wasn't a casual letter. It was your best letter. And at the end of the days, when you feel good about yourself, self-confidence starts to rise. You know that if you can have this good day, you can have another one the next day. And those days become the weeks. And the weeks weeks become the month, and the month become a powerful year. Self-confidence comes from the lack of neglect. If you will not neglect to do the small daily disciplines, that's where self-confidence comes from. Part of good health is self-confidence. I know I'm gonna be healthy. I eat the apple a day. I walk around the block. I do the jogging on the beach. At the end of the day, when you've really poured on it, when you've done all the stuff, self-confidence grows. It affects your future. It affects your psyche. So this is true. One of the great power of human is self-confidence. Self-confidence means willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve. Believe. Some people say, well, I'll do it for a while and see what happens. I'll try a couple of things. If that doesn't work, I'm out of here. And all of us know that that person doesn't have much of a future. But if you're willing to do whatever it takes, if I have to learn a couple of things, I will learn those things. If I got to learn 5 or 6 things, I will learn all. If I have to take an extra class, I'll take an extra class. If I have to read the books, I read all the books I needed. If I have to consult with people who know more than I will do the necessary consulting, whatever it takes. I will do that. Start to develop unbelievable self-confidence. Self-confidence also comes from the ability to rise above your circumstances, to rise above what happens, the very little things, the discouraging things that would sink everyone's ship. Expect yourself. That would cause someone else to quit early in the day, but to keep going. That willingness to overcome all circumstances, whether it's little chance, or the big challenge. If you're willing to do that, I promise you this power will work for you and in you. The variable, it'll make a difference. Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world, divided up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pocket. Incredible. Success is not something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development. See, the major question to ask on the job is not what are you getting? The major question asked on the job is what are you becoming? The big question is not what am I getting paid here? The big question is what am I becoming here? Because true happiness is not contained in what you get. Happiness is contained in what you become. Of all the assignment Mr. Schaaf gave me at age 25, this was probably the most difficult. In fact, I'm still working on this one. I think it's an unending challenge to see what you can become. The major key to your better future is you. For a big share of my life now, I didn't have this one quite figured out. Among all of those things, I didn't have quite figured out. Many things used to puzzle back in those early days. I used to wonder why two people could work for the same company and make twice as much money. Now, see, that used to puzzle me. Maybe they were the same age, graduated from the same school, live in the same community, work for the same company with the same products and same services. They've got the same traffic, the same problems. And one makes 1,000 a month, and the other one makes 2,000 a month. Now, that's why the puzzling question: why would this line be the same and the money twice as much? I ask, what's the difference between 1,000 a month and 2,000 a month? I don't mean 1,000 a month, right? I could figure that out, but what makes the difference? Why would one person do twice as well, 3 times as well? Speaking economically now, I know there is more than one way to do the will. I understand, but in this little narrow area called compensation. What's the difference? Well, back then, with my faulty thinking, I'm trying to reason it out. I thought, well, maybe time makes some of the difference, right? Some people do it better because they have more time. I used to say Harold ought to be able to do well. He's got a lot of time. If I had all the Harold time, I could do it well. No, that's got to be done, right? Number one, you cannot get somebody else time. A guy says to me one time, he says, if I had some extra time, I could make some more extra money. I said, then forget it. There isn't any extra time. When the clock strikes 20 midnight, that's about wrap it up, right? I mean, you can look around that gungs, there's a little more, but it's over. You say to the guy, what are you doing? He said, I'm looking for some extra time. See, they'll come and take you away, right? There isn't any more time now. If you cannot get more time, which you cannot, what could you get more that would make a difference in economic results? Here is the key word. Make it part of your notes. This word is value. I have the little phrase for your notes. Value makes the difference in results. Value makes the difference. You cannot get more time, but you can create more value. Now, here is the first lesson of economics. Everybody should learn it from the time they're old enough to understand what a dollar means, how to earn one, how to get one, how to keep one, what to do with it. First lesson of economics. We primarily get paid for value. That's the lesson one. Bringing value to the marketplace. That's how we get paid. You do not get paid for the time. I know it takes time to bring value to the marketplace, but you get paid for the value, not the time. Now, since the true value, here is one of the key questions of the evening. Is it possible to become twice as valuable at the marketplace and make twice as much money in the same time? Could you become 3 times as valuable? Make 3 times as much money in the same times? Is it possible? The answer is yes. If, and it is always if, right? Life is known as the big if. Harry Truman once said life is iffy. How true. Here is the big if. We're gonna consider it tonight. It's possible to do much better at the marketplace if you go to work primarily on yourself. Learning to work primarily on yourself. People have asked me for the last 25 years, how do you develop an above average income? The answer is becoming an above average person. Develop an above average handshake. Some people want to be successful. They do not even work on their handshake. As easy as that would be to start on, they let it fly. They don't understand. Develop an above average smile. Develop an above average excitement. Develop an above average interest in other people. Develop an above average intensity to win. See, that will change everything. Probably one of the most frustrating experiences in life is looking for an above average job with above average pay without becoming an above average person. It's called frustration. Mr. Shav gave me probably the greatest clue he gave me when I first met him. He said, Jim, if you want to be wealthy and happy the rest of your life, just learn this lesson well. He said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Then Mr. Shav gave me probably one of the most important clues among so many things he taught me. But this was in those early days. Mr. Shav was very kind, but he was also very abrupt, and he had these interesting questions to ask. I'm giving him a little rundown one day on how things hadn't worked out for me. He said, Mr. Owen, I've got the answer for you. If you will listen carefully, listen carefully. I did that day and for the next 5 years. If somebody's wealthy and happy, you gotta listen, he said, Jim. I've only known you for a short time, but he said, it's already my honest opinion that for things to change for you, you gotta change. That wasn't quite the answer I was looking for, but that's the answer he gave me, and I pass it along to you. For things to change for you, you've gotta change. Otherwise, it isn't going to change. Before I met Mr. Shav, I used to say I sure hope things will change. That seemed to be only I hope if it's not gonna change. I'm in a serious trouble, then I discovered it isn't gonna change. So I'm in a serious trouble. See, I can tell you what the 80s are gonna be like. You have dropped into the right place. I did the seminar one time for Standard Oil Executive and Management in Honolulu. We were having a conference one day on the conference table. One of them said, me, Mr. Ron, you know some fairly important people halfway around the world. Then what do you think in 80s are gonna be like? I said, gentlemen, I do know the right people. I can't tell you. So they all listened very carefully. I said, gentlemen, based on my wide experience, I can really honestly say to you, in my opinion, in the 80s, it's gonna be like it's always been. Aren't you glad you came? That's inside. I don't pass it around just everywhere. Now, of course, I said that to make a point, but I also said it's because it's accurate. It's gonna be about like it's always been. It is not going to change. The tide comes and then what? It goes out for 6,500 years. That we all know, a recorded history, and probably long before that. So it's not gonna change. It gets light and then what? It turns 6,500 years. See? It's not likely to change. We are not to be startled by that. If the sun goes down, the guys says, what happened? It means that hasn't been here long, I guess, right? It always goes down about this time. The guy says, well, I don't like that arrangement. Well, you gotta like and you gotta talk to somebody beside me, right? It gets light, then it turns dark. In rotation, the next season after fall is what? Winter. Winter. How often does winter follow fall? Every year, regularly, for the last 6,500 that we know of. See, it's not gonna change. Now, some winters are long, some are short, some are hard, some are easy, but they always come right after falls. It isn't gonna change. Sometimes you can figure it out, sometimes there is no way to figure it out. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it gets in the knot, sometimes it sails along, sometimes it gets in the reverse. See, that's not gonna change. The last 6,000 year reads like this: opportunity mixed with difficulty. That's how it reads. It's not gonna change. The man says, well, if it's not gonna change, how will my life ever change? Anyway, answer. Will you change? Whether I'm talking to a high school kid or business executive, my message is always the same. It goes like this: the only way it gets better for you is when you get better. Life seemingly doesn't wish to waste success on unprepared. Life says, why waste fortune on this person? They're not prepared to do the right things with it. They're not prepared to use it wisely. If a fortune was bestowed upon this unprepared person, it would probably be wasted. The people that could have been touched won't touch. What could you have been done won't be done, because this fortune will have been wasted on the unprepared person. So not only look for fortune, not only look for promise, but prepare yourself and ask of yourself, what can I do to make yourself ready? Because remember, life was designed not to give us what we want, not to give us what we need, but life was designed to give us what we deserve. Every value in life must be paid for, and those that pay are ones that get it. It says, those that give, receive. Somebody says, I wish I receive. I wish to receive. You don't have to concentrate on receiving, just becoming a good giver. It says, those that search will find. Someone says, well, I need to find some good ideas to help change my life for the future. Then to find good ideas, that doesn't come because you need them. It comes because you search for them. If you find good ideas, you gotta go after them. You gotta go to the class. You gotta go to the workshop. You gotta go to the training. You gotta go to the book. You gotta go to the journal. Go where good ideas are being taught. Go searching, go looking, because good ideas are not going to be wasted, and those that are not seeking are not searching. Well prepared. So prepare yourself to be ready for fortune when it comes, to be ready for challenge when it comes, to be ready for opportunity when it comes. It's not the same as it. Opportunity comes along and passes by the person that's not well prepared. I want to prepare myself this year for the next year. Yes, I wish to be effective this year, but I'm also thinking of way, how could I be better? How could my ideas be more powerful? How could they be sharper and sharper, more clear? How could I reach some people next year that I perhaps can reach this year? I haven't reached deep enough into my own soul to affect some people. Some people just pass by and say, hey, what a good speech, but how could I make it stronger than that, deeper than that, more powerful than that? I cannot be as powerful as I could the next year. You cannot go to the 10th grade in the 5th grade. You just got to go through the grades. But the more you prepare when the 10th grade finally comes, now you can cash in and get 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more value from it by being prepared. Now, here's the next one. That's a great power in self-reliance. Self-reliance means you simply look mostly to yourself. It would be nice if someone just gave you this, gave you this, gave you this. It would be nice if everyone did their job exactly as they're supposed to do. But here is what we gotta do. Primarily rely on yourself. Primarily say, I am the person responsible, and I will learn the necessary skills so that I can help people learn their skill. If I need lots of people to do certain things to build my organization, that's what I must have. But I have to be the final exit. I've got to be final one that people can rely on, so that if this is missed and this is missed, I can catch up. I can fill that gap. I can do the job. We have to do it when we conduct meetings. We have to do it when we conduct training. We have to do it when we run and we are in the class of just few. What someone might have missed, we're there to fill it. Self-reliance, primarily relearning to count on yourself so you can do this. Never complain and never explain. Here is the next key power, and that's image. There is many parts to image. The image that others see you as. The image that you wish other people. That's very important, how other people see. If they don't see you as a leader, chances they won't pay attention. If they don't see you as being in control, chances are they won't have the trust. If they don't see you as knowing where you're gonna be, what you want to accomplish, the probability won't follow. But if people see you, if you have the image of someone that's in charge, in control of your life, your future, your destiny, in control of the situation, if they see that image is powerful, it helps to win the day. It attracts other people. People want to be around people that are in control, that are powerful, but they know how to use the power and influential, but they know how to use their influence. That image is important, but here is very important image, and that's your image of yourself. That way you dress, that way you talk, the way you think, your capacity for learning, all of that is an important image that you have of yourself. The image that you have, that if it needs to be learned, you could learn it. If there is a book that needs to be mastered, you could master it. If there is a skill that needs to be learned, why couldn't you get busy now and I learned that skill? That self-image, that's I'm continually trying my best to do best I can. Because one of the most important places you have to think and look is into the future. Yes. You gotta look into the past. Yes. You gotta look around. Yes. But one of the most important places you have to look is in the mirror. How I appear to other people. That's important. But how I appear to myself is the ultimate importance. That image to where we all develop the self-confidence, you will develop the self-reliance now. Here's another one. The next word is character. Become a person of life values, a person of principle, a person of honesty, a person that earns respect. That character. So this is important to develop the character within yourself. That people see you can honest, so fair. Willing to do the right thing, willing to be helpful, but always willing to walk the center line, not to pass the line. Now, here's another one. It's called self-discipline. Self-discipline, all of us have a chance. Whether it becomes sometimes it is easy, and especially if you're working hard, doing your best you can. It is easy sometimes to let up and let it go. Philosophy, I thought the last time it was here, philosophy. In my personal opinion, philosophy is the major determining factor in how your life works out. Philosophy, the major determining factor in how your life works out. Philosophy, to form our philosophy, we gotta think, got to use your mind, got to process ideas. Yes, the whole process over life, starting your back here when we were children, school that we've attended, our parents, our experiences, all that stuff that we've processed by thinking process helps develop our philosophy. In my opinion, each person's personal philosophy is the major factor in how your life works out. Here's what's exciting about each person's personal philosophy. That's what makes us different from dogs and animals, birds, cats, spiders and alligators. That's what makes us different than all of life forms. The ability to think, the ability to use your mind, the ability to process idea, not just operate on instinct. In the winter, I'm telling you, the goose can only fly south. What if south doesn't look too good? Tough luck, it can be fly. But see, human beings are not like a goose. Can only fly south and south. I mean, you cannot turn around, go north, and can go east. You can go west. You can order the entire process of your own life. We do that by processing ideas and come up with a better philosophy, a better strategy for our life, goals for the future, plans to achieve those goals. All this comes from developing our philosophy. Philosophy helps us to process what's available. Well, when we eat there, when we get there, we got seed and we got soil. We got some rain and we got some what? Sunshine and we got some season and what? The miracle of life. Now, the key is, what do you do with all this stuff? How do you turn all this stuff that's available here into the quality and promise and lifestyle and dreams and future and possibilities? All of these that's possible now with the human beings. How do you take all this stuff and turn it into the equalities, equities, and values? Well, it starts with velocity. What is the seed? What is the soil? What is the sunshine? What is the rain? Is it possible to take some of each of all stuff that's available to turn it into food and turn it into value and turn it into nourishment, turn it into something spectacular and unique that no other life form can do? The answer is yes. But you cannot deal with all this stuff and what to do with it unless you start refining your philosophy. Think, use your mind, come up with the ideas and strengthen your philosophy. The seeds in the soil and the rain and the sunshine. This is called the economy and the banks and the money and the school and everything that's available and out there. Processing information, what to do with all that and turn it into equity and value. This is a major challenge of life. My personal opinion, each person's personal philosophy is not going to determine what you're gonna do with the seeds and soil and sunshine and the rain and miracle. The change of season, activity, this is the work part, the labor part, taking action. The activity is the miracle working place. Miracle being something we don't quite understand how it works. It doesn't mean doesn't work. It means we just don't quit. Understand how it works. Miracle works. Turning wisdom from your own philosophy and inspiration. Strengthening of attitude, faith, courage, commitment, all the stuff that comes from attitude. If you're willing to take those two qualities, philosophy and attitude, we invested into activity, you can have a miracle. Anything short of that, no miracle. Wisdom doesn't perform a miracle. Attitude doesn't perform a miracle. The only thing that perform a miracle of increase called equity is called. We're all putting wisdom and gratitude into discipline, into labor. This labor now can perform a miracle. Here's the two parts of the labor. One, do what you can. Number two, do the best you can. Cannot give you better advice than the other. Number one, do what you can. You just got to go home and make a list. After today, here's the question to ask as you make this personal list. What I'm not doing that would be easy to do, that could greatly change my health and my wealth? What am I doing? Neglecting it would be easy to do. Let's go home and answer that question personally. You don't have to put the answer on the public bulletin board. This is just all personal stuff. Errors and judgment, disaster. A few things, discipline. Well, beyond imagination, if you will pick up the activity part, the miracle working part, plant the seed part. Take care of your part. The soil will take care of its part. The seed will take care of its part. Season will take care of their part. The miracle will take care of its part. If you will take care of your part, called putting it into activity. Action works miracle. Results, every once in a while, you gotta take a measure. See how you're doing with these three pieces: philosophy, attitude, and activity. Now, we take a measure called results. What's the result at the end of the day? The result at the end of the week. You cannot let too much time go without checking. Time goes by. 6 years I've been out there working when I met my teacher. Mr. Shah said, well, Mr. Rohn, let's go through a little summary here. He said, in the last 6 years, how much money have you served in investment? Let's go through a little lap. Let's hear. How much money have you saved and invested the last 6 years? I said, what? 0. He said, you have messed up. He said, how many books have you read in the last 90 days? I said, what? 0. Wisdom of world available. Change your life. Change your future. Wisdom of the world available. Develop any skill you want. Earn the income you want. Have all the treasures you want. Equities you want. Relationship with your family that you want. Everything that you want available. And the wisdom of the world is to help to get it. Haven't you read any book in the last 90 days? My teacher, Mr. Shaf and Mr. Owen, have messed up. I'm telling you, you've got a deal. Shaf said, Mr. Owen, in the last 6 months, how many classes have you taken to improve your skill or to develop new skills? How many classes have you taken in the last 6 months? I said, how many? 0. He said, you have messed up. I said, you don't need to miss the country. You don't need to straighten out the propellers. You don't need to straighten out any of this stuff. All you've got to do to look with them and let result teach you a great deal about your own activity, your own attitude, and your own philosophy. I went through that process. Take this phrase home. Result is the name of the game. What other game is there? I'm telling you, if you will start with that, it's called the process of life change. And it doesn't matter how small the process is to start. One discipline started, and then one discipline feeds another. The first thing you know, you've got this whole cycle is the upward positive motion. It's called life change. It's called income change. It's called health change. Relationship with your family change. Equities, unprecedented, that you can have in numbers that will stagger the information and imagination if you don't curse what's available to start amending what's possibly to get the result that you want. I don't think I can put it in any better way, he said. It's not what happened to determine the major part of your life and future. It's not what happens. What happens? What happens to all, he said. The key is what to do about it. It's not what happens, it's what we do about it, he said. If you will start the process of change, do something different the next 90 days than you did the last 9 days. Like picking up the books to read. Do something different like new health discipline, relationship with your family, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how small it is if you'll start doing different things with the same circumstances. Since you cannot change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves. We can change what we do Then he gave me another secret to success when he said, what you have at the moment, Mr. Owen, you've attracted by the person you've become. What you have at the moment, what you've had at the moment, you attract by the person you become. A few little simple principles here. Once you understand these, it starts to explain so much. The ability to respond means let life touch you. Do not let it kill you, but let it touch you. Let sad things make you sad. Let happy things make you happy. I'm telling you, give it an emotion. Let the emotion strike you. Not just the word, not just the image. Let the feeling strike you. Let the emotion strike you. Here is what important. Our emotions need to be as educated as our intellect. Our emotion needs to be educated as well as our intellect. It's important to know how does it feel. It is important to know how to respond. It is important to let life in, let it touch you. We've covered the first two abilities in the personal development quest. One is the ability to observe. Don't miss anything. Pay attention. Good watchword for the 90s. Pay attention. Things are moving so fast these days. You gotta pay attention. Pick it up. Suck up. The color suck up. The sound suck up. What's gonna in? Somebody asked me not long ago, said Mr. Owen, how are you doing with all this stuff? Get on everybody's case pretty hard. How are you doing with all the stuff you teach? I said, well, best I can share with you in this. Listen to me very carefully. You don't watch me too close. That stuff's easier to lecture on than it is to do. I understand that. I'm working on it just like you, but here pour out what you got so that your capacity grows. Now, why should you want to capacity to grow? Very self-interest reason. Here is to hold more of the next experience. Ambition is not greed. Ambition is an eager desire to achieve, an eager desire to get ahead in life, to do more for your family, to prosper in health, wealth, and relationship. Now, desire doesn't always translate into ambition. Desire is what you want for yourself. A bigger horse, a bigger car, a fatter bank account, a better life. I desire to have these things. Ambition is how you get there. Desire is sometimes healthy. Desire is sometimes unhealthy. Desire might say, I want the tallest building in town. The destructive side of desire might urge you to tear all these other buildings down. I guess that's one way to do it. You might get away with tearing down the first one and maybe the second one. But in your desire to tear them all down sooner than later, some guy is gonna be standing out in front of this building saying, I'm onto you, get out of here. And pretty soon you're no longer known as a builder, you're known as a destroyer. Now, the second way to have the tallest building in town is to see it, dream it, and plan it, and put your team on it, work on it, go through all the steps to get there. Do it right. Have the ambition to be owner of the tallest building in town and go through all the right steps to get there if you really want it and have the skill to do it. And the patience, the withier, the wealthier of the storms. Your ambition will lead you there. Having the ambition to do what it takes to get you where you want is good. Ambition is creative and instructive. Ambition is an expression. It is something inside you. You want to express a positive way. I'm sure you have dreams of accomplishing great things. Are you ambitious enough to realize these dreams? Are your dreams strong enough to pull you toward your future? Are they vivid enough to see an end result now? Are they worthy of doing until you get there? What are your reasons for creating these dreams? Reasons vary from person to person. I bet if you did a little soul searching, you could come up with a very strong list. A list of reasons. Why is this so important to achieve these goals, dreams? What are you trying to express? These reasons for accomplishing great things are different for everybody. There are personal reasons, sometimes uniquely personal reasons. Some people do well for the recognition. Some people do well because the way it makes them feel, they love the feeling of being winner, and that's one of the best reasons. Once in a while I hear someone say, if I had $1 million, I never work another day in my life. Hey, that's probably why the good Lord sees to it that he doesn't get the million, because he would just quit. Family is another reason. A motivator is doing well. Some people do extremely well because other people, and that's a powerful reason. Sometimes we will do something for someone else that we do not do for ourselves. I know a lady who was getting back on the track from financial disaster. Tough. She didn't have much of anything left. Her primary motivator was to keep her daughter in private school, an expensive one of the best in the country, although her goal was to financially suppress where she was before her economic fall. Her main reason to work, of all those extra hours was to give her little girl the best possible education. As you can well imagine, wanting to do something for someone else led her to all sort of accomplishments as well. Her fortune are the people who find themselves greatly affected by someone else. It is powerful. What has you getting up early, hitting it hard all day, and staying up late? What has you inspired? What are your reasons for doing well? What at the core of your quest? What is the power behind your ambition, self-interest, self-preservation? As human beings, we cannot help but be interested in your own self-preservation. We cannot help but be self-interested. It is more of strongest urge we have interest in our preservation.